Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen, the channel that brings you your team every single day. And if you need your daily Rangers fix, if you need all the latest Rangers news, reviews, rumours, speculations, signings, club statements, podcasts like the one last night with Adam Thornton from Heart and Hand, which was absolutely fantastic, go back and check it out. Then hit that sub, ring that notification bell. And guys, if you can do me one big favour, which is hit that like, I would really appreciate it. Well, we've got lots of things to get through on our video this morning, this afternoon, or this evening, depending on obviously when you are watching the video. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about possible departures from the club, including a possible move to Italy for Yanis Hagi. We're going to talk about an update on the Jose Cifuentes situation, that saga of a transfer that seems to have gone on longer than reading War and Peace. We're going to talk a bit of an update on the Benny Traore situation, and also about a bit of an update on the Danilo situation as well. Where to start, guys? As always, one of the biggest clubs in football. They're just the news never stops, does it? It's 365, it's 24/7, it's all the time, it never goes away. Well, let's start off with talking about Yanis Hagi. Yes, that's right, Yanis, Victoria's favourite. Victoria, you might want to skip this bit if you're watching this video. Okay, so according to a number of media outlets, a number of media sources, not only in this country but also in Italy, US Lecce, Italian Serie A outfit, are working hard to bring Yanis Hagi to the club. Apparently, their interest is, in the words of an insider, concrete in the Romanian attacking midfield player. They really want to bring him to the club. They see him as being a future part of their rebuild this summer, and someone who can be critical to their plans going forward. Obviously, Yanis Hagi obviously carries with him as well that status of being the son of Romanian legend Georgi Hagi. Now, Yanis is under contract until June 2026. So, of course, Rangers are under no obligation to sell Hagi, putting them in a powerful position when it comes to looking for a fee for the Romanian. However, Hagi has played only 11 games over the last season due to that awful cruciate knee ligament injury he sustained. It's only been slow going for the Romanian coming back from that ACL injury, and the situation is always that it takes you around about a calendar year to fully recover and fully get over any ACL injury once you are fit and back to playing and training. So he's still got a little bit of time, I think, to be back to his very best. Now, it's strongly rumoured in a number of media outlets that the Romanian could well be for sale this summer, despite the fact that Michael Beale does obviously like Yanis Hagi, and Yanis was, of course, a key member of that 55 title-winning squad. But with the emergence of obviously Todd Cantwell, with the fact that we have Kieran Dowell at the club, Sam Lammers, Alex Lowry, there are a number of attacking midfield options. Obviously, really pushing Yanis Hagi down that pecking order. I mean, realistically, you've got to say that Yanis is probably behind Todd Cantwell and Sam Lammers at this time, at time of recording. So, he's a bit of a way down that list, and chances of him getting a start week in, week out for Rangers, or at least, a good percentage of starts, I think is very slim indeed, with the manager probably preferring to play Lammers or Cantwell in that 10 role. Hadji really can't play out wide. He's not quick enough. And I doubt he can really become a sitting midfield player. That's not his game. So realistically, he's going to see his first team opportunities really, really limited at the club next season. Now, it's whether or not Rangers want to keep him for Europe or for cup competitions, and try and obviously rebuild him and try and obviously increase his value going forward. However, Lecce appear determined to try and sign the Romanian this summer. So at the moment, there was nowhere I can find a fee. Rangers obviously paid 3 million for him when they brought him in from Genk. They're probably going to want at least that back, and their money back for him, if not a little bit more. And obviously, if Lecce have a strong desire to get Hagi, they may well be able to tempt a little bit more money out of the club. So it remains to be seen. But interesting news nonetheless emerging from Italy, that Lecce have got a concrete interest in Romanian international Yanis Hagi, and he could be well one of those players that is departing the club this summer. Watch this space, guys. Watch the space. Okay, update on the Benny Traore situation. Now, Those of you who remember that Benny Traore, the young striker, was who plays for Häcken in Sweden, who has scored multiple goals this season in quite a short space of time and really impressed over there, was linked with a move to Rangers. Now, as was mentioned on the previous video, it's felt that Traore is a little bit down that shopping list at this moment in time, and obviously with the imminent arrival, whenever it happens over the next couple of days, of Cyril Dessers, it's felt that Traore was very much behind Danilo and maybe even Madja in terms of desire of signing the player. He's also obviously a target for that lot from across the city. However, it's emerged tonight that Sheffield United, who have just been promoted to the Premier League in England, have identified Benny Traore as a top target and are getting ready to submit a bid for the player. The bid is thought to be around £5 million, which is, I think, a little under what Häcken were expecting. But apparently, Traore is obviously interested in this deal, as it would mean him moving to England to play in the Premier League. Now, Sheffield United may even be willing to go higher than this, to £6 million, to match that so-called rumoured amount that was it Ericsson, the guy who is the sporting director of the club, talked about in the video that I talked about when I talked about the update on Traore's transfer value. I think that, if Sheffield United are going to bid 5 to 6 million, it's very, very unlikely that Rangers would be able to match that, and certainly the wages as well. On top of that, given the fact that although Sheffield United are a newly promoted team, they do play in the English Premier League, and of course they will carry with them all that extra TV revenue and all that extra revenue from being a Premier League team. So it does appear that Benny Traore would be well off our list if the Danilo move falls through, or if the Danilo move even goes through, if Rangers are happy with their current strikers. Now, talking of Rangers' current strike force, there's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, about will Rangers still sign Danilo? Is that still someone they're looking at, or is Josh Madja now on the list because he's available for a free transfer? And are Rangers going to add any more strikers to the team? Now, this obviously was a position that we all knew was a position of major, major need. Witness the end of last season when Robbie Matondo and Fashion Sakala were playing up front. Clearly not the answer. And certainly there's been rumours this summer as regards both Sakala and Matondo and their futures at Ibrox. I think Sakala is someone who will stay for another season. I think Beale likes him as a player, and his numbers from last season certainly indicate that he can hack it in the Scottish Premier League and can produce the numbers. However, many feel that he would be just a squad player. There has been obviously continued speculation over the future of Robbie Matondo, who Rangers paid a substantial amount of money for and reportedly pay a substantial wage to. He obviously has failed to impress. Yes, he has been injured, but at the same point, he has not really impressed when he has had an opportunity to play. Many people feel it is time to move on from Matondo, and he apparently is interesting teams in Europe. Now, the Danilo deal, as was said by Chris Jack, has been put on the back burner. Now, just to explain what that means, because I think there's a bit of misunderstanding out there. Back burner does not mean that's it, the deal is dead. That's it, there is no more deal. That's it, we're not even going to talk about it anymore. That's it, the book is closed. That's not what it means at all. If you put someone on the back burner, it just keeps it sizzling over and you go back to it when you need it. And I think that is what Rangers are aiming to do with Danilo. Now, at this moment in time, if you look at the Rangers squad, the top, this is presuming obviously that Cyril Dessers joins within the next day or two and links up with the squad. Now, as things stand, that would give us Cyril Dessers, Sam Lammers, Kemar Roof, Antonio Cholak, and Fashion Sakala. Now, Michael Beale has said that Fashion Sakala can be considered as a centre forward. I don't agree personally. I don't think he's up to it, but Michael Beale is our manager. I think Sakala is probably better on that left, coming in on his right foot. I think that's probably more him. However, Michael Beale is the man. He's the coach. Let him make the decisions. So if that's it, we have 5 strikers currently on our books. I can't really see them spending upwards of 5-6 million on a striker to add a 6th striker to that list. The strong likelihood, in my opinion, is that Rangers will not move on Danilo until someone has been moved out of the club. Now, this for me is a sensible thing. You can't realistically run with six strikers, not when you're trying to reduce the squad size. Now, Michael Beale talked, didn't he, several times last season about the fact that he didn't want to run with a squad of 30, 35 players. He wanted to be around about 24, 25 players, so that there was two players for quality for every position, three keepers, and also the players felt they were close to the first team and there was more of an opportunity of them playing. And if there's only one player ahead of you, there is that option. Obviously, if you train hard, you work hard, you impress, you take your chance when you get it, that you can play first team football. I think that is what Michael Beale wants, that hunger within. Now, with six strikers, that would be way too many if you were going to obviously build on and add to other positions, maybe Cifuentes, maybe Panzo, for example. So it's, I think, very much more likely that Danilo will not arrive. If he does arrive, that is, of course, I think there is still an interest there. There is still a growing feeling within the club. They want to agree a transfer fee. They want to get something done. But, and here's the big but, they do need to move someone on first. Now, a lot of you I know would look at that list and go, well, any of the bottom three is fair play. Now, I don't think Kemar Roof is going to be moved on. Number one, because obviously he's missed an awful lot of time out injured, and I can't see any club even wanting to take him on loan and risk that situation. I've seen that obviously people have commented to send him out on loan. Look, I do not think anyone is going to want to take him on loan because he's missed so much football. Why take a player on loan? Why commit some of your budget, which has to happen with loan players? Yes, the parent club do pick up part of the bill, but you still have to pick up the other part of the bill. So why bring in someone who's got a high chance of getting injured? Like I said, I don't think that's going to happen. That Kemar Roof will come in. Secondly, I think after this hip operation, we've got to hope and pray that we can get him back. That Michael Beale, can get him back to somewhere around that 55 season when he was a top scorer. Even if we can get 60% of games out of him, that is still a huge move forward. And with Kemar Roof being one of the best finishers, around in the Scottish League, and on the Isle of the United Kingdom, he is a quality finisher. Someone who knows where the goal is, doesn't score just normal goals, scores. I mean, witness that goal against Aberdeen, for example. Is a instinctive finisher, is a quality poacher, is someone who puts the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis. So for me, he would certainly be someone that that perhaps would, if we keep him fit, is well worth staying. Fashion to Carl, like I said, I cannot see Michael Beale selling. So therefore, it's more likely to be Antonio Cholak. More of that shortly. So that's where we're up to with strikers, and you can even add into that as well Abdallah Sima. Although he's a wide man by trade, a right winger who could also play left wing. He can play through the middle as well. So you could even add him to the list. So you could argue that would be 6, maybe 7 strikers, which is way too many to have in a squad, especially when you want to trim that squad down. Abdullah Sima there, he is pictured at training. Doesn't he look a major unit? He's got speed, he's big, he's quick, he's strong. He's got everything he needs in his locker to really terrify opposition defenses next season. And it really is to be hoped that he finds that Slavia Prague form and does terrorize opposition defenses in the league and the cups and in Europe as well for Rangers. Now, there's a number of players who has been reported may be ready to leave Rangers. Obviously, as I've just mentioned, Antonio Cholak may be one of them. It may be that Rangers are looking to move him on to raise some extra funds to then use that money to go back and get someone like Danilo or even possibly Josh Madger on a free if they cannot get Danilo. So, look, Cholak isn't going to want to sit on the bench realistically. He is a very good striker, don't get me wrong, but look, I just don't think he suits Michael Beale's system. Now, the risk of being shot down again, Rangers aren't going to play with an out-and-out 9. That's what Adam Thornton was talking about last night with me on the podcast as well. They're not going to have a one-man up front target man for me. That's not how they're going to play this coming season. Michael Beale likes 2 wide split strikers. He's going to play with 2 wide split strikers. If that's the case, Antonio Cholak just does not fit that system. Cholak is someone who relies on service, who relies on having the ball put into him, and that's not how the team is set up. In terms of anyway, their way of playing, I just don't think that Cholak will suit Michael Beale's style. Therefore, I think it is highly likely that the club will move on from Antonio Cholak. Obviously, Werder Bremen are keeping tabs on him, and a number of other Bundesliga clubs as well are reportedly very interested in the services of Antonio Cholak. Someone else who has been linked with a move away, and I'm not just talking about the Saudi move, I'm talking about move to English Championship clubs, is Scott Wright. And it does look like Rangers are trying to find him a home, whether that be in Saudi or whether that be somewhere else in England or Scotland. It does look like Scott Wright will be on the move very, very soon. Now, there was an offer came in for this man the other day. That was a loan proposal by Besiktas. Hopefully, that is not something we're going to take. That is not a move we need. I don't want to see Kamara go on loan. I don't want to see him going to the club with the prospect of getting him back in 12 months' time. For me, any departure of Glenn Kamara needs to be on a permanent basis, and the club has to actually pay money to secure his services. Now, I know teams like Sheffield United, Southampton were allegedly interested in him. Fenerbahce also allegedly interested in him. I think it's a situation where we need to get a fee for him. We need to sell him on. We don't want to send him out on loan. We just want to get a situation where we actually, move on properly from him. And that's getting a fee, that's sending him somewhere else, that's sending him there on a permanent basis. So for me, Glenn Kamara, has to be a permanent transfer, not a loan. So the Besiktas offer of a loan, I think, is spurious to say the least. Well, guys, that's pretty much it for this morning or this afternoon or this evening. Here on Glasgow Rangers Nation. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. But actually, one final point, the Jose Cifuentes. That's what you wanted to know about Jose Cifuentes. Now, Jose Cifuentes played for LAFC the other night against LA Galaxy in the LA Derby, a game watched by over 80,000 fans in the LA Coliseum. That's a huge stadium. It was a record for an MLS game. Now, as you can see from the graphic, Cifuentes didn't start. His starting spot was taken by, funnily enough, Timothy Tillman. That's right, Timothy Tillman, brother of, you guessed it, Malik Tillman. Cifuentes was brought on, as you can see from the graphics as well, did very well when he came on, apparently, but was unfortunately not able to prevent LAFC going down to a 2-1 defeat to the LA Galaxy. Now, this kind of, I don't know, delays the Cifuentes move even more. Why play a player that you're going to possibly sell? Why, if his deal is imminent, are you going to play him? You're going to want to protect him in case he gets injured, especially if you're going to get some money for him. It does look like the Cifuentes deal, this saga of the Cifuentes deal is a little bit of a way off still from being done, from being completed. And it's then you start to worry that maybe Rangers will say, well, actually, you know what, forget it. Let's just wait until January when he's available on a free. Let's not bother. For me, they need to move for Cifuentes now. He's an exciting attacking talent. He's a good midfield player. He can get up and back. He can tackle. He can read the game very well. He's a good player, and I'd like to see him at the club as soon as possible. But I think it is a situation where we are starting to perhaps get it wrong on the Cifuentes situation, allowing it to drag on too long, allowing it to put, allowing, the player. I just think it's a complicated one, and it's getting more complicated by the day, and it needs to be sorted as soon as is possible. Well, guys, that truly is it from me. Thanks so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, remember, this is your channel, the channel built by the fans for you, the fan. And always remember, I need you to do two things for me. Number one, smash that like. And number two, always remember, we are the people.